Harlow watched Hugh amble toward the desk as she called her sister. She wasn't at all surprised Tierney answered on the first ring. "How is he?" "No changes since you spoke to the head nurse hours ago." "How are you?" Tierney asked. "Tired, worried, annoyed that Hugh is still here." A pause. "Wait, Hugh is still at the hospital?" "Right beside me in the cardiac waiting room." So what if she'd given in and taken the hug she'd needed so badly? It was a momentary lapse. She didn't need anything else from him. Tierney knew nothing about Harlow's past with the gruff foreman. She had to tread lightly not to raise her sister's suspicions. "Look, Tierney, I hate to ask this, but Renner needs to call Hugh back to the Split Rock." Another pause. "Renner and I both thought Hugh would be on the road back here as soon as you reached the hospital, since Renner is short-handed this week with Tobin being gone. That was my thought, too, but he booked a hotel room." "I'll talk to Renner about it. Do you have a hotel room?" "Not yet. I'm crashing here in case someone needs to get a hold of me." "Good plan. Text me if anything changes." "Will do. Love you." "Love you, too." Within a couple of minutes, she saw Hugh reach for his phone in his front shirt pocket. He stepped away from the desk to take the call. His back straightened and he turned to look at her. Harlow held her ground and his gaze. She had nothing to feel guilty about. She didn't want him here. The conversation was short. Hugh slipped his phone into his pocket, pushed his hat back, and scratched his forehead. It was too much to hope for that he'd become his pissy self and storm to the elevators. No, instead he headed straight for her, his gait measured, his eyes blazing, and he didn't stop until the tips of his boots connected with the toes of her flip-flops.
"Dirty pool, Harlow. Have my boss demand I get back to the ranch ASAP?"
She rolled her eyes. "As if I have any control over Renner Jackson." He snorted.
"You don't, but Tierney does. And you're her beloved baby sister, so it ain't all that hard to connect the dots."
Harlow took a page from his book and said nothing.
"I'll leave, if that's what you want."
"I do."
"We'll deal with the rest of this later."
"Not likely." He stood way too close, watching her way too intently. She bristled. "What are you waiting for? A goodbye kiss?"
"You didn't give me one when you left 3 years ago. I doubt your offer is sincere now."
"You're right." After Hugh walked away, and she shamelessly watched that fine cowboy butt purely on principle because she'd felt him eyeballing her ass, she grabbed the bedding from the counter and settled in for the night. She slept fitfully and lightly, but thankfully she didn't dream or get thrown into memories of the past. "Miss Pratt?" Harlow blinked and sat up, confused about where she was. "Dr. Mauser is here. He'll speak to you about your father." Right. She was in Denver. She untangled herself from the blanket. "Thank you. Follow me." They went through the set of double doors and cut sharply to the right. The nurse stopped in front of a room, knocked twice, and waited until a doddering man opened the door. "Come in." Surely that wasn't the doctor who'd performed the surgery. He was ancient. As soon as she entered the room, Harlow forgot about everyone and focused on her dad. He still looked horrible. Alive, according to the blips and beeps of the machines around him, but very much like he'd danced with the devil yesterday and barely bested him. "When will he be awake?" she asked.
"Later today or tomorrow. So for now, let's go into the hallway and get the medical stuff out of the way."
"Can I record this, or will you be able to..."